In September 2012, the World Bank approved a development policy loan that promotes inclusive green growth and sustainable development in the state of Himachal Pradesh in northern India.
The history working with this state is quite interesting because bank had number of engagements with Himachal Pradesh in the field of hydropower, transport, watersheds. The natural resource management is a challenge in the state because it's a natural mineral resource rich state. So why not to engage on those issues? And then those issues came out very clearly that government also wants to do something positive in that direction. And we came out with a new development policy loan.
As one of the key building blocks for a second forthcoming DPL, the South-South Exchange Program was designed to enable Himachal Pradesh representatives to learn from successful experiences in the global South, Mexico. In May 2013, the Chief Secretary of Himachal Pradesh led 4 other senior officials to participate in this exchange program, which included site visits and discussions with representatives of federal and state governments, NGOs, and communities in Mexico City, Oaxaca, and Quintana Roo.
As you know, this DPL was in the pipeline for quite some time, and one of the components of DPL was the South-South experience, the visit, which was being planned for the last couple of years. And then finally we had made it to Mexico, which is basically for the sharing of good practices in both these countries. Mexico and India has a lot of similarity, and we have the same focus towards the green growth and climate change.
Mexico is really an example for many countries because it has taken many steps throughout a very long period of time to build an institutional framework for climate change that we are seeing today being operationalized as programs at the federal and the state level. We also have a very important law that is mandating different levels of government to take action. And that was really for climate change. But what I think now is starting to be realized is that we also need to be really aggressive in also pursuing our development goals at this moment. And we have to sort of build synergies between the agendas of development and climate change, which in a way can be summarized under the Green Growth Agenda.
First, we visited the Mexico City, where we really got the federal government perspective on how they are implementing the Green Growth Agenda and the climate change agenda. And it was really obvious that the Mexican government is taking the climate change issue very seriously in terms of putting together a climate change law, a climate change policy, a number of actions to support the climate change agenda. The second visit was to the state of Oaxaca, which is almost, if you go there, you'll see that it's almost like Himachal Pradesh, and some of our Indian officials actually mentioned that they felt very much at home when they were driving through the mountains of Oaxaca. There we had a very good field visit to a community managed forest and how they are sustainably managing their forest resources in terms of producing and also in terms of selling their forest products in the market. So I think that was really a telling story that we got out of the Oaxaca trip in terms of managing natural resources in a way that the community benefits from the use of those natural resources. And also we had very good visits with the government officials of the state of Oaxaca, both in the Environment Department and also Social Development Department. And finally our trip concluded in Quintana Roo. Again, a beautiful, beautiful place, and especially from a tourism perspective, I think it was really a lot of lessons to be learned for the government of Himachal Pradesh officials, because Himachal again is a very touristy place. They're trying to promote tourism. They want to get their tourism goals up to, right now they have 8% of GDP, and they want to go up to 15% of GDP. And clearly what they saw in Cancun and also Quintana Roo was just amazing in terms of how towns and cities have been transformed with the help of tourism and on how much it's impacting the local economy.
What we really are taking back from here is the seriousness in which the government of Mexico has enacted regulations and laws to make climate change part of their total country's agenda. And therefore, they have synergized with the various departments of the country and enacting them and implementing them in a very serious way. This is something which will be very important for Himachal Pradesh, because Himachal Pradesh is also looking at a green growth strategy by making Himachal a green state by 2020. And the learning from Mexico will definitely add to our whole plan, the roadmap which we have formulated for the state.
One interesting experience has been to learn about the general law on climate change which Mexico has enacted, which is worth replication in not only in India but in other parts of the world as well, because that will really give a push to the efforts of different countries to reduce GHG emissions and to themselves for adaptation and mitigation in climate change.
Ecotourism is being promoted in a big way, and they are looking at low density visitors but high end visitors, so that conservation effort can be kept up. And that again is something which we must do, because in the Himalayas and Himachal Pradesh we need to preserve and conserve some of the very fragile ecosystems in the hills. Conservation of the traditional aspects, the history and the culture, which you could see very clearly in Oaxaca. The colonial architecture has been preserved over there, which is very good, and that's something one should learn and sort of replicate in India too.
What we saw through the waste management, the energy being produced through waste management, that was something new to us. They are producing quite a bit of about 17 megawatts of energy that we would like to replicate similar thing in Himachal Pradesh.
Here, the people are very hospitable. If you make your place known for that, the people come there, visit that place.
I would also say that there is a lot Mexicans can learn from our experience in India. So we need to continue with this South-South exchange in future. It will be very useful if a group of Mexican officials similarly placed come to India and see what we are doing.